Warm and dry today, but more rain is on the way. I'll show you when the next cold front arrives and how much rain we'll get.
Fire investigation update. A man is dead and at least 20 people are out of their homes after an apartment fire. What we're learning about the investigation, plus how the residents affected are being helped. Healthcare takeover. Executives from WakeMed and Atrium Health address a potential deal between the two hospital systems. What this could mean for WakeMed patients moving forward.
We are getting a better idea on specifics about Atrium Health taking over WakeMed. Good afternoon. I'm Laura Levine in for Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levigan. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Though the deal could bring billions of dollars of investment to Wake County, there is concern healthcare would become more expensive.
Let's get right over to WRAL's Sean Gallagher, who attended that press conference with WakeMed. Sean, this press conference was held after strong community criticism saying that this deal was moving too quickly.
Yeah, Laura, part of the reason that they wanted to have this meeting in the first place was because they wanted to be more transparent. They hear the concerns of the community and critics alike who feel like this was kind of a deal done in the dark that we've only found out about within the last week. And then that vote yesterday that was pushed off until a later date. Now, WakeMed CEO Donald Ginsig said he was first approached by Atrium about joining forces about 2 years ago. Ginsig telling me it took until now for the public to find out because they were in the process of doing their own due diligence on the partnership. With it, Atrium is planning to invest $2 billion over the next 10 years to help rebuild the aging hospital system, and that could include expansion in the area. But how necessary is all of this to keep WakeMed afloat? That's a question I had for Ginsig.
Do I think WakeMed will survive in the future? Yes. But I can see a world in which they don't thrive. And that's really what this is about. It's unlikely in the next 10 or 20 years that we'll have the financial wherewithal to invest the close to $1 billion that Southeast Raleigh and the Raleigh campus in particular need.
Make WakeMed more competitive with the much larger UNC and Duke Health systems, providing more monetary muscle of sorts with Atrium that he says will lower healthcare costs in the long term by keeping people healthier. And today's meeting was just the first step of many where they're going to be soliciting feedback from local communities all around the area. Ginsig says they plan to have those meetings over the course of the next few months to share their story with everybody. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Sean, thank you. United Healthcare is eliminating prior approval requirements for 30% of services. The insurer says the change will reduce delays and paperwork for patients and doctors. The change impacts select outpatient surgeries, some diagnostic tests like echocardiograms, as well as certain outpatient therapies and chiropractic care. Prior authorizations are required for only 2% of United Healthcare medical services. More than 70% of United Healthcare's prior authorizations will be part of the new standardized submission process by the year's end.
New this afternoon, a Carborough town spokesperson says the person who died in an apartment fire on Monday was 53-year-old Thomas Owens Jr. And WRAL's Monica Casey is live at that scene where this all unfolded. Monica, we still don't know what led to that fire, though.
That's right. Hours after this fire was put out, investigators are still here on scene right over behind these vehicles, speaking with property owners and tenants. Now, we just flew Drone 5 over the scene. Here's what the building looks like from above right now. This apartment building is on Fidelity Street, and you can see the roofs of the units that back up to the street are completely gone. Carborough Fire, with the help of many other departments, got this fire out in about an hour. We spoke with the fire chief, Will Potter, just moments ago about this building and its history.
There are 8 units in each section, and there's a firewall between those. It's basically a cinder block wall that is designed to prevent fire spread to adjacent units. So that firewall did its job.
And Chief, what can you tell us about the inspection history of this building?
We're still looking at it as part of the investigation.
Now, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation is assisting in this case. About 20 people were displaced here, and we know one man, Thomas Owens Jr., died. Now, while investigators are still working to determine the cause, the preliminary damage estimate here is about $750,000. Live in Carborough, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Search warrants revealed what happened in the moments leading up to a deadly shooting at a Mooresville pizza restaurant. And you may recall this happened in February at Ruckus Pizza and the Park West Village shopping center. A witness says the victim, Zachary Horn, was less than 10 feet away from the suspect, John Fraser. The witness says that Fraser took out a revolver and fired as Horn stepped toward him. Another witness claims that Fraser admitted to shooting Horn. Horn left the pizza place and then went into the Crumble Cookies store nearby. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Fraser is charged with murder.
Okay, right now we have a live look at North Hills this afternoon. Another warm day, but rain is on the way as early as tomorrow. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at that timeline. Elizabeth.
We're looking at this starting tomorrow, most likely fairly late in the afternoon into the evening and lasting into the day Thursday. Here's where it is right now, and you can see this front sliding eastward across parts of the Midwest, and that is bringing some showers and thunderstorms to folks there. As a matter of fact, in this area, we have the potential for severe storms both today and tomorrow. But by the time we get to Thursday, that severe threat does not translate into our area. Let's take a look at Futurecast. This is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, and you can see just a few isolated showers that come through around 4 or 5 o'clock. It's not likely to be enough to cause any major problems for the evening commute, but it is likely to be pretty wet for us Thursday morning during the commute. Notice how much rain starts to move in close to midnight, and those showers will continue on and off through 6 a.m., most likely up until maybe right around lunchtime. Then a little bit of a break, and then we'll have the potential for a line of storms to develop later in the afternoon. That's 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock. That slides eastward and out of here as the front passes us by. And then Friday, we're back to some quiet conditions. So 30% chance Wednesday. That chance overnight goes up to about 70% and stays at 70% during the day on Friday. A small chance on Saturday, but we're looking at an even better chance Sunday night into Monday. So we have 2 potential chances for rain in our 7-day forecast. For Saturday, it's just a tiny chance, and for Sunday, it's an overnight chance. So it does look like a good bit of the weekend will still be great to get outside. 78 Saturday, and for Mother's Day, 83, and it should be dry for most of the day.
Luis Fernandez here in the WRAL Live Center. The ceasefire between U.S. and Iran continues to be tested. In a briefing in the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the ceasefire was not over despite clashes in the Strait of Hormuz. For context, on Monday, Iran attacked U.S. Navy commercial ships under U.S. escort. The military says 2 U.S.-flagged merchant vessels made it through the strait. President Trump said the U.S. destroyed 8 Iranian ships. Iran denied both the crossings and the damage to its ships. A couple more notes I want to go ahead and show you. The United Arab Emirates is currently under attack again from Iran. That is according to its defense ministry. And the health ministry in Beirut says 2,702 people have died in Lebanon since Israel's latest conflict with Hezbollah began in March.
Lewis, thank you. 2 people now facing charges in connection with the burglary at a local business. We're talking about this. It all happened at Triangle Area Trading Cards on Jones Franklin Road. Video here shows a front window shattered. The company carries top games such as Pokemon, Lorcana, and Riftbound. The company says no one was hurt, no word on exactly what was stolen, but the business is closed today while the owners assess their losses and clean up. Raleigh police are searching for 2 people who broke into a vape and tobacco shop overnight. The WRAL breaking news tracker saw officers investigating just after 2:30 this morning at King Vape Tobacco and Hookah on Dixie Trail. A side door to that business appeared to be shattered, and officers found several items near the shop.
Today, Wake school leaders will be one step closer to finalizing the district's budget. Newly proposed cuts could reduce classes at some high schools and impact certain school employees. As WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains, if the state puts a cap on property tax increases, that could affect funding for the school system.
This conversation about property taxes plays into Wake County Public Schools budget. Today, Wake school leaders will be meeting here at the district headquarters to vote on recommended budget cuts. Superintendent Robert Taylor recommends more than $10 million in cuts. That's less than 1% of the total budget. The superintendent proposes cutting these costs and asking county commissioners to cover the rest. County manager David Ellis says he supports Taylor's request and recommends it to commissioners. However, However, he does anticipate funding cuts for the school system. During the county budget presentation yesterday, Ellis explained that those are more likely to happen if the state puts a cap on property tax increases. When we asked him about how much funding could be cut, this was his response.
It's too early to project exactly how much it potentially could be, but my job is to prepare the board for what may come next. And if we don't have some changes in the near future, we will be looking at cuts moving forward.
School leaders are scheduled to vote today at 5:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
And during a commissioners meeting last night, the Wake County manager proposed a $2.28 billion budget for next year, and that would come with an increase in property taxes. Wake County manager David Ellis has a bit of a bleak outlook for the next fiscal year. The county expects to earn $40 to maybe $50 million a year in new revenue, but this year it was just $8 million, and all of that went to public safety. They're making up the difference with a one-time use of $35 million from reserves. And the property tax increase will add another $62 million. The 2-cent increase would cost the average homeowner about $90 more this year.
And as Wake County looks to increase property taxes, Chris, the state Senate plans to pass a proposal that could prevent other counties from raising property taxes this year. It's based on reappraisals. Counties would not be able to raise the taxable value of your property. At least a dozen counties, including Guilford and Harnett, are scheduled to reappraise properties this year. If passed, Wake and Durham counties would not be affected this year, though. This bill would be a temporary pause as lawmakers look for other solutions. The Senate had convened at 9:30 this morning. We'll check back with WRAL for those updates on what we learned from that.
All right, after a stunner of a comeback win against the Flyers last night, we are hearing from Carolina Hurricanes head coach Rod Brindamore. Now that the Canes are up 2-0 in the series, what you're seeing right here is a live look at a press conference that's underway right now. The Canes are preparing to defend their winning streak in the playoffs. The Canes managed to come back after being down 2 goals last night and won in overtime. And so we're listening into this press conference right now. We want to know what Rod and the boys are saying, and we will bring you an update at 12:30 on the WRAL Live Center.
Yeah, they are on fire on the ice. All right. Well, coming up next at noon now, what court documents reveal about the reasons a man is accused of setting one of the most destructive California wildfires.
Plus, Stranger in the Basement. No, not a new Frida McFadden book, but a real-life story of a man hiding in a couple's home. A closer look at how he managed to get in.
And higher stakes in the Strait, the new escalation as America tries to force the Strait of Hormuz to open, and how that's affecting what you pay at the gas station.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
An employee at a VA center in Georgia claims the Department of Veterans Affairs investigated some employees who attended vigils for Alex Preddy. He was a VA worker who was shot and killed by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis earlier this year. The recreational therapist and union leader says that she wanted to pay respects at a vigil for him. She says her employer then claimed she violated agency rules by speaking to the media. She denies that and argues the probe might have been retaliation for her union leadership. New this noon now, court documents reveal that the man suspected of setting a deadly wildfire in California was fixated on Luigi Mangione. Mangione is charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Prosecutors say Jonathan Rinderneck set the inferno that reduced neighborhoods to ash and left 12 dead. Investigators say in the months leading up to the fire, the 30-year-old searched terms "Free Luigi Mangione" and "Let's take down all the billionaires." Many of the defendant's Uber passengers described him ranting about Mangione and driving erratically on New Year's Eve 2024. That's the same day the fire started.
Bit of a surprise visitor left a family in Arkansas shaken for a while. Look at this. It started when the homeowner and his wife returned home from church. They noticed some chairs were moved around the house and food was missing. Well, they then called their relatives over, and then they noticed a makeshift bed. Well, that's when the man came out. He told them that he entered through the home's crawl space and then made a bed in a storage closet beneath the stairs. The family says they feel more empathy, though, than anger.
We're not angry at this man. I feel sorry for the man. I'm glad we figured out there was somebody living in the house, because this could have gone on for much longer than it did.
I don't think he was
trying to be a bad guy. There's plenty of opportunities where he could have, taken things. It seemed like he was just trying to get out of the elements, trying to survive.
Different things. Well, no one was hurt after all this, but police did take that 41-year-old man into custody. His bond is set at $15,000.
The drought of 2007 and 2008 cost North Carolina's agriculture industry more than $500 million. How does the current drought compare? Where meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us the significant differences in today's Ask the Meteorologist.
One of the key distinguishing factors between this drought and that one is that this has been months in the making. When you look back to September, we've had a rainfall deficit each month, and we're starting out May like that as well. Here's the two causes for that. Especially over the winter time, we had La Nina. That's a pattern in the Pacific Ocean that alters the jet stream and makes things usually less stormy here at home. And then over the spring, we've had this area of high pressure over the eastern U.S., a common pattern in the summertime that's blocked any widespread rain from getting in here. So again, months at a time, that's led us into what's called this extreme drought. So that's the second highest level on the official drought monitor, and statistically speaking happens once every 20 to 50 years. However, when you look back at that historic drought in 2007, nearly 2/3 of the state was in that highest level, that exceptional drought, and that included most, if not all, of our area. It happened really quickly after a very hot and dry summer, at which point evaporation rates were at their highest, really depleting us of a water source. So we're hoping to source some water from the sky and get some rain chances as we go through the next several weeks. Your forecast anytime on the free WRAL weather app.
Let's talk about the forecast here with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, we have pretty much a nice day, a little breezy here in downtown Raleigh, though.
Yeah, I see lots of people out walking around enjoying it. I was out just a little while ago, and it does feel fantastic out there. We're going to blink, and the humidity is going to rush in, and it's going to be 90 degrees. And so these are definitely days to enjoy, that's for sure. It is a little breezy. We have this tree. I think that it's really going to start to take over this whole shot at some point. But 77 degrees. We have a southwest wind at 8 miles per hour. It's a little blustery out there, but it doesn't get much more perfect than 77 degrees. It'll be warmer by mid-afternoon. We'll climb to 84. And take a look at the winds. Our winds, again, out of the southwest, anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour steady. The steady winds are here in the blue box. And then there are some gusts. We're gusting to 23 in Rocky Mount and 17 in Goldsboro, 18 up in South Hill. And we'll just have random gusts across our area as we head through the afternoon. Feels great out there, though. Apex at 78, Holly Springs at 76. It's 75 in Rollsville, 79 in Durham, 77 in Chapel Hill. So it just feels great as you're out and about. High temperatures will climb into the mid-80s all across the viewing area, but our humidity stays low, so that makes it feel more comfortable. And if you're looking for something to do to get outside and enjoy the weather, may we recommend the Durham Bulls. First pitch goes out at 6:45, and temperatures will be in the low 80s at that point. And if you're in the shade, it'll feel great. At 8 o'clock, temperatures will be back down into the mid-70s. So good day to be outside. Wednesday, it will be warm again at 84, but as we talked about at the beginning of the newscast, by late in the day, there'll be some isolated showers. We'll have rain overnight Wednesday night, and then early Thursday morning, a little break, and then a chance of some storms later in the afternoon. 77 on Thursday because of the clouds and the showers that we'll see. Here's a look at that front that will arrive here on Thursday, and well ahead of the front, we'll end up with some showers. This storm system has been producing some severe weather, and we're going to walk through that severe chance to our west coming up. But let's walk through Futurecast again. Again, we'll move it on out to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Just a few isolated showers. Nothing really measurable for most of us during the evening on Wednesday, but by Wednesday night, we have this big band of rain that comes through, and the showers will continue overnight. Best chance of the heaviest rain will be from Raleigh southward. This is lunchtime on Thursday, still a few scattered showers, and then it may be as the cold front comes through between 3 and 5 o'clock, this sort of line of storms develops. But what typically happens is if we have rain earlier in the day, it tends to settle the atmosphere, and it makes it harder for the strong storms to develop. So we're not looking at a real threat for severe weather, but we could have some rumbles of thunder. So again, Wednesday, 30%, 70% chance on Thursday. For Mother's Day weekend, we're looking good. A stray shower Saturday, and then on Sunday, the rain should be overnight. And for Mother's Day, 83 degrees, so not looking bad at all. So we have a couple chances for rain. We have Wednesday into Thursday, and then Sunday night into Monday. Coming up, we'll talk about how much that could total for the entire week.
Luis Fernandez in the WRAL Live Center. Let's talk Tonys. The 2026 Tony Award nominations are out. 2 new musicals are tied with 12 nominations each. The Lost Boys and Schmigadoon with an exclamation point. The Lost Boys is based on a 1987 comedy horror, and Schmigadoon is actually started as a series on Apple TV, so pretty recent. A few revival notes as well. Ragtime has 11 nominations, and the play Death of a Salesman has 9. And Marjorie Prime has some actor-related news. June Squibb is the oldest Tony-nominated actor at 96, and Danny Bernstein is now the most nominated male actor with 9.
All right, thanks for that, Lewis. GLP-1s for losing weight. Tonight on WRAL News at 4, WRAL investigates how research in the Triangle is shaping the next frontier for the popular drugs. Plus,
that's the goal behind a new UNC Health mobile unit. We'll take you inside to show you the change it's working to make.
Welcome back. WRAL told you about concerns about an elevator broken for weeks at the Mariah Palm Apartments in Henderson. Well, last week it got fixed, but 5 on your side's Alex Littlehells found out it's broken again. He looks into protections you have as a tenant and renter.
A story that was supposed to be about a repaired elevator is instead about a problem without a fix again. Last week, the Department of Labor inspected the one elevator at the Mariah Palm Apartments and found no violations. A significant update shortly after WRAL reported its weeks-long break this April.
Have your friends personally been impacted by the elevator? Have they not been able to get out? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Not been able to get out at all because they can't walk.
But WRAL learned the elevator broke again. Residents have now been without a regularly functioning elevator for about a month, adding to initial concerns for a complex advertised for senior citizens, with the international symbol for access even on the outside.
WRAL reached out to several organizations about what tenants can do in situations like this.
The Fair Housing Act protects tenants in situations like this, but with a lot of parameters. For example, if an elevator is out of service, housing providers have an obligation to ensure tenants with disabilities have, quote, equal use and enjoyment of their home. Property managers told WRAL Monday a new part has been ordered and may be installed this week. Disability Rights NC weighed in on the problems too. Tenants with disabilities are entitled to equal use and enjoyment of their home, meaning they can request accommodations like relocation to a new apartment, relocating to a new hotel, and assistance with groceries and medications. Alex Littlehells, 5 on your side.
Foreclosure rates in the U.S. hit a 6-year high in the first quarter of this year. Data reveals that properties with the foreclosure filing have increased 26% compared to last year's first quarter. This is the highest amount of first quarter foreclosures in the U.S. since 2020 during the pandemic. While many homeowners have low mortgage rates, most also face rising costs for home insurance, property taxes, and homeowners association dues.
Spirit Airlines may be gone, but you can still use your branded credit card to make purchases. Bank of America issued the Spirit MasterCard, and the bank is not accepting new applications, but existing accounts are remaining active. Purchases will no longer regenerate points for frequent flyer miles, and Bank of America says some customers may be eligible to move their accounts to other cards.
On this day in 1921, Coco Chanel launched its iconic perfume, Chanel No. 5, and the flowers used to make the signature scent have been grown in the same location for more than a century. 1,000 jasmine flowers go into every 1-ounce bottle of Chanel No. 5 perfume.
Wow.
Those flowers are grown in grass that's located in the hills of southern France, where the Mediterranean meets the southern Alps. Chanel's master perfumer says the jasmine grown there today smells like the jasmine originally used in the fragrance. I have all of them.
all the numbers, Chanel's
yes.
number 1 through 5.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, I love it so much.
All right, your time right now is 12:26, and we're talking about a fuel fight. The war in Iran is having a profound impact on gas prices right here in America. Why President Donald Trump says the higher cost is worth it.
And connecting a nation, a steel beam from the 9/11 site is touring the U.S. Reaction from survivors of the nation's worst terror attack on American soil.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
President Donald Trump's new plan to guide ships through the blocked Strait of Hormuz was met with renewed Iranian attacks in the Gulf. Iran fired missiles and drones at U.S. ships, but Central Command says none were hit. NBC's Alice Barr explains efforts to free up shipping as Americans pay the highest gas prices in 4 years.
New attacks on oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, testing the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, with Iran targeting U.S.-flagged ships with drones, missiles, and small boats. U.S. Central Command says American attack helicopters ran interference, returning fire, and no U.S. ships were hit. Top Pentagon officials updating that since the ceasefire was announced,
they've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point. The threshold of restarting is a political decision above my pay grade. What I'll say is it's low harassing fire right now.
President Trump downplaying Iran's capabilities.
They're reduced to these small, little, fast ships that are very cheap, and they attach a machine gun to it. They think that's good. We knocked out 8 of them today.
The ramped-up aggression comes as the U.S. Navy is attempting to guide commercial ships through the strait under the president's new Project Freedom. CENTCOM says 2 U.S.-flagged vessels made it through Monday as American consumers feel the pain of that vital energy route being choked off, with gas prices up more than 30 cents in a week.
It used to be like $35 at full tank. Now it's like about $55.
I'm 58 years old and I've never seen gas prices like this that I can remember.
I'm on a fixed income, disability retirement, and this isn't fixed. This just keeps going up and up and up.
President Trump adamant the short-term pain is worth it.
I see it going down very substantially when this is over.
All amid a new potential pain point, with Iran again targeting its neighbor and U.S. ally, the United Arab Emirates. The UAE saying its air defenses shot down incoming Iranian drones and missiles, sending tensions soaring.
That was Alice Barr reporting. So remember, you can use the fuel tracker on the WRAL News app to find the lowest cost of gas wherever you go. Just search fuel.
Today, Wake school leaders will move one step closer to finalizing the district's budget. Newly proposed cuts could reduce classes at some high schools and impact certain school employees. Superintendent Robert Taylor recommends more than $10 million in cuts, and he's proposing cutting these costs and asking county commissioners to cover the rest. The county manager says that he anticipates funding cuts for the school system, especially if the state puts a cap on property tax increases. The vote is scheduled for tonight, and that is at 5:30. Meanwhile, Wake County Manager Dave Ellis is proposing a 2-cent property tax increase as part of his new budget proposal. He presented the more than $2 billion budget at last night's commissioner meeting, and the proposed increase would help offset a lack of funding in other areas. A 2-cent tax increase could end up costing Wake County homeowners about an extra $90 a year.
So as Wake County leaders discuss raising property taxes, state lawmakers are preparing to vote on a proposal that could prevent some counties from doing so. WRAL's Ali Katlabar, she shares what this proposal has to do with reappraisals.
This is a part of state lawmakers' plan to provide property tax relief for residents. Now, this Senate bill could stop counties from raising property taxes based on reappraisals this year. So what this means is that county governments would not be able to raise the taxable value of your property. The bill would be a temporary pause on reappraisals while lawmakers look for long-term solutions. Now, at least a dozen counties, including Guilford and Harnett, are scheduled to reappraise properties this year. So if passed, Wake and Durham counties would not be affected this year. Wake is up for reappraisals next year, and Durham is scheduled for 2029. Now, local officials say the bill could still hurt their ability to pay for services and education funding. Now, WRAL is following the outcome of this vote today. You can follow along on WRAL.com. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
Durham is now the largest community in North Carolina saying no to data centers. Last night, City Council approved a 60-day moratorium on their development. This comes after major opposition to data centers from the community. Dozens of people rallied before last night's meeting. About 40 signed up to speak to Council directly.
We're already seeing impacts on community members' electric bills. We're seeing impacts
on our water systems. We're in a drought right now in North Carolina, and we're seeing community members contact our organization and say, how can we push back? How can we keep our water for the people, plants, and animals that rely on it?
City leaders hope to work with Durham County on a longer-lasting moratorium soon. And also last night, Northampton County approved a 32-month moratorium of its own.
It took a little extra time and a come-from-behind effort. But the Carolina Hurricanes are still undefeated in the playoffs after a win over the Philadelphia Flyers in Game 2 of their series. The Flyers scored the first 2 goals of the game last night at Lenovo Center, but plot twist, the Canes came back and tied it at 2, forcing overtime. And almost 19 minutes into that extra period, Taylor Hall scored to give the Canes the win. The Canes are now up 2-0 in the series, and they will head to Philadelphia for Game 3 on Thursday night. Puck drop is set for 8 p.m., and not too long ago, head coach Ron Brindamore was speaking to the press.
Yeah, Chris, Rod have a lot of good things to say about Freddie Anderson. He played fantastic in overtime, but in general, Brindamore says the team has to be better.
We played hard like we do every night. I think there's another level we're going to have to get to, and it's there for us, I think. So that's kind of the takeaway. We're getting by. Like, we're finding ways to get a win. It wasn't a bad game by any stretch. But I think there's another level we're going to have to find.
6-0 so far in the postseason, and Game 3 will be at Philadelphia on Thursday at 8 p.m.
Okay, Lewis, thank you. Coming up at 12:30 now, hot or cold, your electric vehicle may be paying the price. AAA uncovers how extreme temperatures could shrink your driving range.
Plus, remembering 9/11. A piece of the Twin Towers from 9/11 is going on tour. How those affected are being honored for this. And just a reminder, our team is working to bring you exclusive stories. And for coverage you will only find on WRAL, visit WRAL.com and search the word only.
A Wake County student says she was falsely accused of using AI to complete an assignment. Now she's calling on school district leaders to set a clear standard for detecting AI use. Eleanor Canina created this change.org petition calling on district leaders to create guidelines and transparency around when and how AI detection tools are used.
My mom had been able to advocate for me a lot and support me through this, and it occurred to me that some other people might not have that and might not be able to advocate for themselves in the same way. And I just thought that was an issue, and I wanted to make sure that other people didn't have to deal with being accused like this.
Tonight during our evening news, we're asking Wake County schools how teachers are trained to identify generative AI in student work.
The spotlight will be on the youngest innovators in Durham in just a few weeks. The DPS Young Innovators Expo is a reimagined science fair for elementary students. There will be student projects from inventive designs to exciting discoveries and hand-on demonstrations. The fair is on Sunday, that is May 17th, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. There will be community voting for the fun superlatives until 3, and you can bring your family and young innovators by to experience all the educational fun. Sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. We'll educate and remember. A 16,000-pound steel beam from the World Trade Center site is now touring the U.S., while organizers say this nationwide tour is vital to history.
Plus, temperatures impacting electric vehicles. The recent study from AAA and what they say is the best weather to drive your car.
A piece of steel from one of the Twin Towers now touring the United States. The Steel Across America tour will make stops in over 35 cities to honor 9/11 victims, survivors, and first responders. Richard Giacovis spoke with survivors who were there on that fateful day about what this tour means to them.
Just the sight of it brings Jack Ohm back to that day.
You get a rush of emotion. It overwhelms you. It brings you back to 25 years ago, picking through that steel, looking for bodies, looking for survivors.
Jack was a North Duty Battalion chief on the morning of September 11th, 2001. All 8 of his FDNY units responded once the South Tower collapsed. Most of them never returned home.
We never recovered their bodies. So for us, that steel represents the hearts and souls of those people we never recovered.
It's this steel beam recovered from the ashes of that same tower where so many heroes lost their lives on 9/11 that is now sacred to not only the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, but to all New Yorkers. And now that giant piece of rusted steel will begin a more than 10,000-mile journey across the country, stopping in multiple cities to allow all Americans to stop and reflect. 9/11 survivor Peter Bitwinski worked on the 69th floor of the North Tower and was inside when the first plane struck that morning. He was able to escape before it collapsed minutes later.
The plane had hit 23 floors above where I worked, so the immediate experience was the impact of the plane hitting, and then because the building remained intact, it was moving back and forth.
Peter came back to Lower Manhattan today, becoming one of the first survivors to see the beam up close before it begins its tour.
It brought me back to so many thoughts and memories of commuting here every day as a worker, and it's the one thing I say to people, that the people who perished here were no different than me. They either came to work or they came to shop or they were just visiting, and 2 hours later they either lost their lives or their lives were incredibly changed.
That was Richard Giacovis reporting. So the piece of steel will conclude its national and nationwide tour on 9/11/2026 with the final ride through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, where many first responders died trying to reach victims in the Twin Towers.
A new study from AAA shows just how much outdoor temperatures can affect batteries for electric vehicles. AAA looked at both pure EVs and hybrid vehicles, and it found that at 20 degrees, the driving range is cut by 39% in EVs, while hybrids lose 23% in fuel efficiency. But in hotter temperatures, both vehicles lose less range when compared to colder months. And the most ideal temperature for both vehicle types falls between 65 and 75 degrees. Obviously, something to think about on a hot day like today, Elizabeth. Some people may be driving their Teslas going, better put it in the garage, at least while it's hot out.
It is going to be a bit on the warm side this afternoon. We'll climb into the mid-80s, but it'll be just for a couple of hours. And, temperatures are in the mid-70s right now, so it's feeling nice outside. We take a live look at Chapel Hill, and there have been plenty of people walking up and down, lots of shorts and T-shirts out there, just enjoying a beautiful day. Looking at southwest winds right now at 8 miles per hour, a little bit breezy. We'll see gusts as we head through the afternoon at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And our temperature right now in Chapel Hill, 77 degrees. We do have a cold front that I'm tracking. We'll start to see some of that rain late tomorrow, and it will last on and off through Thursday and then give us a little break on Friday. So here's our front heading our way, again, starting with some showers mid to late afternoon tomorrow, on and off through Thursday. And if we're going to have any severe storms, it's likely to be late afternoon Thursday or Thursday evening. But the way this is going to set up, it's not likely that we'll see severe storms, and we don't have a level risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's take a look at the afternoon tomorrow.
As we wrap things up here, let's take a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. A Carborough town spokesperson says the person who died in an apartment fire on Monday was 53-year-old Thomas Owens Jr. Sky 5 flew over that scene yesterday at the Hillmont Apartments on Fidelity Street. According to Carborough Fire, crews arrived to find the building already engulfed in heavy smoke and flames. At least 20 people were forced out of their homes. The Red Cross is helping them, and no word on what caused this.
Search warrants reveal what happened in the moments leading up to a deadly February shooting at Ruckus Pizza in Morrisville. A witness says the victim, Zachary Horn, was less than 10 feet away from the suspect, John Frazier. The witnesses say that Frazier took out a revolver and then fired as Horn stepped toward him. Another witness claims that Frazier admitted to shooting Horn. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Frazier is charged with murder.
2 people face charges in connection with the burglary at a Cary business. This happened at Triangle Area Trading Cards on Jones Franklin Road. Video shows a front window shattered. The company carries top games such as Pokemon, Lurkana, and Riftbound. The company says no one was hurt, no word on exactly what was stolen. The business is closed today while the owners assess their losses and clean up.
A Caucasian shepherd puppy is being credited with helping pull a Russian bear cub out of a funk. I mean, look at right here. 3.5-month-old Melon was found hiding in log piles. Rescuers noticed that she was a little withdrawn and showing signs of depression. Well, that's when they decided to introduce her to Watermelon. They took a little time to check out each other, and now they're inseparable. It's a perfect match because, if you didn't know, Caucasian shepherd puppies are giant protective dogs that are bred for guarding. With their short hair, the puppy and the bear are twinsies there. And this is probably the cutest video you're going to see today, this Tuesday.
Oh, so sweet. Well, there's a new star of the Argentina League, and this one has 4 legs instead of 2. A dog named Coco has gone viral for its antics during the soccer match between Rosario Central and Tigre. Coco ran onto the pitch, displaying great firework and footworks, I should say, as it evaded security for over 2 minutes. Fans even began to shout, "Ole!" Coco left the field for his own accord. By the way, the dog's run seems to have inspired the home team. Rosario Central scored its opening goal shortly after Coco's run, but the lead slipped away in the 1-1 draw.
Ole, 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 ole.
All right, here's what we're following today. GLP-1s for weight loss tonight on WRAL News at 4. WRAL investigates how research in the Triangle is shaping the next frontier for the popular drugs.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL with your next local news update in about 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news anytime and updates anytime with our WRAL News app. We hope you have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.